Hello, and welcome to this Inspiration Zone video for the Ethnic Patterns CreateAlong Box. I'm Sherri Thompson of Luna Meraki Studio, and today we're going to learn how to make these fun tribal-inspired earrings. I used a 1/2 ounce each of the ecru white gray granite and white translucent in a 1:1 to 1:1 ratio, and this made far more than I needed it to for this one project, but it gives you a lot more to work with for later projects. So I conditioned my clay and rolled it out on the #1 setting on my Atlas pasta machine, and I'm using a roughly 1.5 inch circle cutter to cut out some shapes to make sure my earrings are even. Then I'm just going to carefully roll up my circles so I don't trap any air in there. Then just gently condition them back together and roll them into balls. Then you're going to gently start working them into the shape that you want them. You can also make the shapes that you want with cutters of your choice, but I was going for a more organic kind of rounded look, so I chose to do it this way, but you do it however you prefer. Then just make relatively even shapes, hold them up together, check the sizes. Now we're going to embed our eye pins to have something to hang your earrings from. So I'm just taking 2 preformed eye pins and cutting the ends off. And then I'm going to put a gentle bend in each of the eye pins. Then we're going to take some poly paste and just swipe the eye pins into the poly paste quick. And then just find your spot and gently work them into the piece. And I try to switch directions. I have one where the eye pin will curve in one direction, and then I have it where it curves in the other direction. That's just my preference. And I'm just taking a needle tool and cleaning up any of the poly paste as needed. Now we're going to add our stamps. I take the stamps and just tap them on a little nylon stuffed with cornstarch, but you can also give them a spritz of water as well. And then I'm using my hand stamps, 1 on each side. And then I'm taking a needle tool and adding some texture above and below the handprints. Now I'm just using my needle tool to give a little bit more of a prominent line between the design and the flattened area. The other side is where we're going to put our color fuse enamel. Now I flip the pieces over and add some texture to the back. Sandpaper or whatever texture you would like to add would work really well in this time. And then cure your pieces at 275 for 45 minutes to an hour. Now I'm taking a little bit of burnt umber paint and I'm painting the entire surface of the cured pieces, trying to work the paint down into any of the textured spots. You can actually also paint this on raw clay, which I really like to do because the curing of the paint just helps it adhere really well to the clay. But in this instance, I had painted on the cured clay and then let it dry, and then using the sandpaper to texture the clay. Now that we have our paint removed in the spots that we want to, we're going to add our color fuse enamel. I'm going to take a little bit of liquid clay, which in this case I used Fimo gel, and I'm going to paint it on a thin layer on the flat spot of our earring. Next, we're going to give our color fuse a little stir to mix the particles all up, and we're going to gently add to the liquid clay side. I also do this process on top of an index card so I can dump the extra color fuse back in the jar, and it also is nice to bake on. Now I use a needle tool to kind of spread it around and get it evenly placed and remove any of the color fuse from the textured side, because I just want to keep the color fuse on the non-textured side. And when you're done applying your color fuse enamel, cure again at 275 for 20 minutes. And now we have some fun earrings inspired by the Ethnic Patterns CreateAlong Box. Thanks for watching, and happy creating.